Just keep it.
You used to sit and think.
Well, I with the presidential year, I'm kind of really into the news. Sometimes I'll have friends over for dinner. So I'll get ready for that.
So, do you have like a morning routine that you do?
No.
You don't?
No, I have my decaf, I watch the news, I'll have my bagel. Sometimes I'll cook some vegetables or do some laundry or run around with a vacuum or something like that, I don't know.
You drive into town?
Yeah. Yeah, I tootle around. I don't go to Ventura because there's no reason to go. I don't have any reason to go. Ted drives me to the eye doctor because they put those drops in your eyes and you're not supposed to drive afterwards. He used to have an Ojai office, but he doesn't anymore. And then the other one is in Oxnard, so.
Is Oxnard a good town?
No. I mean, it's...
I don't know.
No, it's got a dangerous area you don't go to and stuff like that. There's gangs. Lots and lots of gangs there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I don't know. Where'd you get Oxnard? You keep saying Oxnard, this Oxnard.
No, you've said it a couple times, and so it was a familiar name.
No, it's...
I don't know. I just heard it before. I think Dad said it sometimes or something.
Yeah. There's gangs and stuff there. So...
It's weird how, like...
Oh, that's the question.
Changes.
So I have a question. What do you want your posterity to know about you?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Never thought about it.
Well, now's your time to think about it.
Right on the spot?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we don't want to make you uncomfortable, but...
No, I know, but I never thought about it. My posterity?
We did this with my dad yesterday.
Last night, yeah.
So I'm trying to think what else we asked him. I'm kind of tired.
I don't know. I like arguing with the government. I like doing that. I'm kind of
a hippie at heart. Will always be.
Well, it's not so much a hippie, activist.
That would be a better term, activist. All of a sudden, I just got super hungry and thirsty.
Yeah, well, no protein.
Well, I put in protein, but I haven't been eating a lot of plants that have a lot of protein in them today. Those drinks do, but they were giving me acid reflux and I needed water, so.
Those nuts will help.
Yeah. Something solid for my stomach to grab onto.
So, where did you go to college?
Sarah Lawrence.
For how many years?
I don't know. It was after I was married, so it was kind of strung out. I went to the University of Connecticut my freshman year. Then I went to Emory after Kristen was born. Then I went to Hofstra after Kurt was born. But the real place that I went was Sarah Lawrence after you were born. That's where I did the most of my work, and that was the most serious.
What did you study?
Social sciences.
History, stuff like that.
Or
government.
Government. I don't know. It was
Econ.
Social psychology, psychoanalysis, and the Constitution, kind of combination of things.
Yeah. So your interest
religion.
is kind of, social sciences. That's your interest is.
Yeah, economics, political science,
government, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Government, history,
psychology
American
of leadership. History.
Nice.
Liberal arts.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Okay, and you went to all-girls private Catholic school from kindergarten through 12th grade?
No, I went to Catholic elementary school. It wasn't all girls. And then I went to a private girls' school. It wasn't Catholic.
Oh.
It was just a private college prep school on the campus of Connecticut College in New London.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And your dad was a naval captain.
He was captain of the ferries in town and the super tankers, the oil tankers that went to the Suez Canal and Nova Scotia and Venezuela. And
Oh, he wasn't a Navy captain?
he wasn't in the Navy. He was in the Navy as a younger person, but then he was in the Merchant Marines.
Oh.
You know, it was civilian ferries. That's not the Navy.
Oh. And oil tankers?
Yeah, the super tankers that bring the oil back from...
All the places.
yeah, Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Neat.
So he worked for a company?
Different companies, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And Grammy, your mom worked... Where did
Not
she
really. I mean, during the war, she worked at what we call the EB, the electric boat. That's where they made submarines. She, we had friends, family friends. I don't know if you remember Madeline and Sal Baravecchi. He was a tailor, and he made custom clothes. And sometimes she would work for him once in a while. And we had other friends that had a jewelry store in town. And once in a while she worked, you know, if they needed extra help. But she didn't really work.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't really have to work.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, what era did you grow up in? Like,
Your
50s.
teens and 20s were...
50s.
the 50s?
Yeah. The 50s.
Whenever they were.
Well, the 50s are such a iconic era, you know.
How old were you in the 50s?
I was in high school.
You were?
Yeah. I was in high school and college. But
Nice.
I got married when I was 19, so
Yeah.
Christian was born one day after I turned 20.
A birthday present.
Yeah.
So, it goes your birthday and then Kristen's birthday?
Yeah.
Cute. That's nice.
So what kind of traveling have you done?
Well, Canada, Mexico, Hawaii, Italy, Switzerland, one day in London, which isn't very much, but it was a great day. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. That's a lot of places. There's a lot more than I've gone.
Well, yeah, but you've got plenty of time to travel.
Yeah.
So you grew up in New London, Connecticut,
Yeah.
and then moved to Westport, or no,
Well, we moved to
Atlanta.
Fort Bragg, North Carolina, horrible place. And then Atlanta, still the South during segregation. I didn't like it at all. People, you know, back of the bus, separate drinking fountains, all that.
Really? You grew up in that area?
For blacks. She didn't grow up down there. She moved down there after she...
No, but she was alive during
Yeah,
that time.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was ugly.
Yikes.
I taught third grade in a Catholic elementary school. I used to ride what they called the feeder bus. It was the little bus off the main line that dropped off all the black maids and black gardeners and picked up the Catholic kids and took them to the Catholic school. And it used to bother me, this back of the bus thing for blacks. And so I started sitting in the back of the bus myself, just as a way not to obey that law. And a couple of the kids started sitting with me, and then pretty soon at the school they told me I had to stop doing that. And I said, well, okay. Then you send somebody else in the classroom to teach catechism every morning. I'm not going to teach catechism and not ride the back of the bus. It just... So they dropped it, but then the bus driver wouldn't pick me up anymore.
Oh.
He just drove past me, so... That's the South.
Well, what the heck? That's not
I didn't
cool.
like it.
So what else did you do to kind of like combat segregation?
Well, that was the only thing I could do. You know, I was just I wasn't very old
So
myself.
Rosa Parks sat at the front of the bus, and my mom sat at the back.
Yeah, I never heard of Rosa Parks before. At that time, I had never heard
Yeah,
of her.
yeah, I know. I was
Just like, I just couldn't think of anything else to do. That and argue with people whenever there was a discussion. It just didn't make any sense. They all considered themselves really good Christians, and I didn't understand how you could be a really good Christian and behave that way.
Treat other people that way, yeah.
No, it didn't square with me.
It doesn't make sense. I don't get it even now. I mean, there's not segregation, but there's definitely, like, social rankings, you know? And that girl that I was talking about earlier, you know, the one that was rude to me when I was pulling out of the parking stall and whatever, she's one of those people. She thinks she's better than everyone, because she has a little bit of money, and she thinks that she's gonna go far, but I don't know. I just don't enjoy people who are like that.
Snobby.
Snobby, high on their horses.
I had another question.
I'm flooding my stomach with hard things, so I'm just gonna take a break for a while.
Have you been a vegetarian a long time?
I've been a vegan for 5 weeks, but a raw vegan for approximately a week. I mean, I've been sticking really raw, but nah. I mean, we're on vacation, we're visiting family, and we're taking a break from the stress. Like, it can be kind of stressful sometimes. In my previous, what I was doing before I came here, you know, my everyday life was, oh my gosh, what am I going to eat today? Oh my gosh, am I going to get to work on time? I was always stressing every single day, am I going to have time to do my homework? But I don't have to stress about that anymore. I'm just like,
I don't see how you're not hungry without protein, though.
Who, me?
Yeah, I tried being a vegetarian, but it doesn't work for me. I need to have some protein to
Well, I'm not exercising. I've been sedentary. So if I, maybe if I go for a hike, but I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting around.
Not meat, though. Bee
pollen. No.
Bee pollen,
Yeah, I want to do bee pollen.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it says 1 to 2 tablespoons a day, I think, or something like that.
It's still not the same as...
He's you should see this guy. I mean, he's just full of energy. And I mean, I feel good.
Whatever works for you. I don't try to push my stuff on anyone else because it makes them uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable.
I did the vegetarian thing for a number of years, but I feel better when I have meat. I don't have to have it absolutely every day, but I have like a piece of meat and vegetables and fruit, and then I'm okay.
Yeah.
I don't like feeling full, but I like feeling satisfied. And when I was a vegetarian, you eat a lot and you eat more carbs and you feel all full, but I didn't feel satisfied. It was a blood thing or something.
Yeah.
So I just do better with
nuts and seeds. My plan is to have fruits, vegetables, herbs, nuts, and seeds. And I'm going to learn how to make cultured coconut yogurt. Have you heard of moringa? Moringa. It's a plant. It's a plant from India. A leafy plant from India. Apparently, it's a power food. It's got all kinds of amazing nutrients and stuff in it.
So is seaweed.
Yeah.
Seaweed and parsley.
Really?
Parsley has all the minerals in it, and so does seaweed.
Parsley, what all does parsley have in it? Does it have like B12 and all that stuff?
It has minerals. It has minerals in it.
Oh, minerals as in...
Iron, calcium, magnesium, all those.
I always forget that B12 is a vitamin, not a mineral, because it comes from soil.
Because you can dig out my nutrition books.
Oh, okay. Edible flowers. That one interests me. I want to look at it. Because dandelions are edible. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Well, they're not flowers. They're weeds. They're considered weeds, but... I'm excited. I'm so grateful that she brought this book for us.
So how come you're selling your house in Connecticut?
Money, and it's just hard to take care of 2 houses. I'm always having a lawn cut somewhere. 2 places, you know. And, well, a lot of people died, and some friends moved away, and, you know, it's mostly the money of, you know, and going back and forth, clothes there, clothes here, dragging papers back and forth. I'll miss it because I prefer it back there. I like being near the beach. I like, you know, having lots of Italians and Jews and Greeks and different, you know, here everybody's homogenized. You're either Heinz 57 where you don't even know what you are, or Mexican or Asian. Yeah. That's it. You know, there's not a lot of cultural variety. And there's not a lot of intellectual stimulation. There's never been a bookstore in Ojai. People say, oh, there's Bart's. Well, Bart's is not a bookstore. That's used books. You know, it's just...
What's the difference between...
It'd be nice if they had a mini Barnes & Noble or something here, you know.
No. It would be, but they don't. A bookstore is all the current books, all the latest current books. But, you know, used books, just old books.
Yeah.
It's okay, but, you know, it's not... I don't know. It's just not very intellectual out here. Everybody's concerned with their fitness and their appearance and their weird diets. And, you know, I don't know. It's just, there's just more to do back there.
So you picked staying here for family type
Well,
thing?
For money, too. The property taxes here are less, and there's no winter, really.
Yeah.
And so...
Winters have been brutal back there lately with all that snow.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad this year. The year before there was a lot of snow. But most winters in Connecticut are not a big deal. You know.
Do you have, like, nail files and stuff?
Oh, we didn't get polish remover.
Oh, cool.
I do someplace, but I'll have to find it in the morning. Where did I have to think where I have it.
I just can't wait to get your nails looking all fancy schmancy.
Oh, what are we going to do?
I'll just file them and clean them out and paint them again and whatever, you know.
Okay.
Clean them up. I do my mom's pedicures. I don't do, like, the feet part. I do the toes, you know. I just clean up the cuticles around there and paint them, and, you know, I can't deal with the dead skin anymore. It's just not
I need
my
a
thing.
professional pedicure.
Yeah, that's
Well, we'll have to
goal.
do the dishes and get our work done before we do the nails.
That's okay.
Because otherwise I'll get messed up.
Yeah, that's fine. Do you remember how passionate I was about the dishes, about doing the dishes?
No.
I loved doing the dishes. You were always, I don't know, you would come over sometimes to our house and you'd be like, oh, Monica loves doing the dishes.
I don't remember that.
You don't?
No, I don't know why.
I hardly remember it, so I might be a little shaky on the details. But I do remember you mentioning something about it.
I remember our tea parties.
Yes, I do.
That was our favorite thing.
Yes. We need to have another one of those.
Yeah.
And, let's see. Are we still talking posterity? I don't know.
Yeah, did you think of anything?
Well, I was directly involved in changing the election laws from conventions to primaries. That's the reason we have primaries all over since the 1968 convention, working for Gene McCarthy. So...
It used to be what?
Conventions with basically the party bosses picking, you know, the nominee. There were only like a handful of primaries, and I don't know exactly what they were for, except to give the party bosses some idea of who the people might want, but, you know, they basically picked who they wanted, kind of thing. It's still kind of that way because, well, it was the McCarthy people who got the whole thing adopted to open up the delegate selection process, but the Kennedy people took over our work, and that's why we have super delegates and all these little quirky things that still leave the main power in the party leaders' hands instead of the people, kind of thing. So
I wish I knew politics. I really do, but just so that I could know how things work, you know, in like all the systems, like the lawmaking systems and like all that kind of stuff. I wish I knew that, just so I knew.
Well, it takes a long time to learn it. I went to schools and stuff, but I never really. I learned when, I was opposed to the war in Vietnam, and Gene McCarthy became a candidate, and I went and volunteered. Well, because he was he was not the regular party candidate. We had a Democratic president, and it was very unheard of for somebody in the same party to challenge a president, and so we had to do everything from scratch, basically, and so I had to research the election laws and figure out how to force the first primary in Connecticut. That's how I got elected to go to Chicago, and then we got the Minority Report accepted there, adopted, and that meant that there was a national commission appointed, and within 4 years, all the election laws were changed all over the country.
And was this before you had kids? You did all this before you had kids?
No, it was after.
Oh, you remember that, Mom?
Well, I remember when she was little, you had a little table and chair and phone and paper and pencil and stuff, and I said to you, "Oh, are you playing school? Are you being a teacher?" And you got mad and you said, "No, I'm working for McCarthy." Like, duh. So, yeah, it was awesome. I discovered it was my niche in life.
Yeah.
Well, I was taking courses at Sarah Lawrence, too. One course was like a combination of psychoanalysis and constitutional law, which studied the psychology of leadership and fellowship and stuff. We psychoanalyzed Richard Nixon and Lyndon Johnson and stuff. And another course I took was something called mass persuasion. Technically, that's a polite way of saying propaganda, but basically, how you can get people to do what you want, like buy this product or vote for that. It's the whole brainwashing technique is really what it is, but it's a mild form. Marketing is like a mild form of brainwashing technique.
So, explain propaganda, because I know the general, not really definition, but, I know general information about it, but...
Well, it's, propaganda's like how you're proposing a particular slant on things and getting people to think that way. And there's what's within the law. We have to study the law because there's a lot of things that are not legal. You have to stay within the law when you're trying to mess with people's ideas using the public airways and stuff like that. There's all kinds of laws that regulate that.
Yeah.
For example, there's subliminal messages that are against the law to use, but occasionally they do it. Like when Bush was running for president, the first commercial they did had the word rats that just flitted across the screen. It was barely there. And that was against the law to do that. From then on, they always, instead of, it used to be, people said the Democratic Party, but Republicans started saying Democrat Party because it rhymed with that word rat that went across the screen. That was against the law. They never got punished for doing it. It was kind of a lot of sneaky tricks that people can use.
Wow.
So.
I just got like a creepy feeling about that weird. That's kind of creepy.
It is.
Bad.
It is. You know, there are the Nazis and the Chinese communists, their brainwashing techniques. They deprive people of sleep and just do all kinds of crazy things to break down their sense of who they are.
Did you know Hitler gave his soldiers meth to keep them going?
Wouldn't surprise me.
Speed. And he had like cocaine-laced eye drops, and he was always on drugs. He was always...
he was a maniac.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, the stuff
he was crazy before drugs, but, you know, drugs didn't help.
But the things they did to people, I just don't see how you could bring yourself to do those
humanity,
cool things.
You know? Just no compassion, no sensitivity towards other human beings.
Well, not a lack of sensitivity, but an out and out
cruelty.
Oh.
Depraved cruelty.
Cruelty comes from not having sensitivity, you know?
I know, but it's more than
that's understatement. It's way.
Oh, yeah.
It's just.
It's like.
Wanting to inflict pain.
Mm-hmm.
Sadistic.
Yeah.
I have a book called Bush on the Couch. It was written by a psychoanalyst who studied the same kind of psychoanalysis that I did at Sarah Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Harry Stack Sullivan's Theory of Interpersonal Psychiatry. Anyway, Sullivan was a physicist who became a psychoanalyst, and he was one of the authors of the UN Charter. It's really how individuals mature and how they integrate into society, and you know, how when you make your own decisions or whether you're influenced by other people, you know, and do things because everyone else is doing it rather than standing on your own and making your own decisions, regardless of what other people think or what's the going trend, you know.
Yeah.
So.
I'm tired.
And I studied comparative religion there. That was interesting. Religions of the world, you know.
Yeah. Were we one of the religions that you studied, the Mormons?
No, Hindu, Buddhism, Christianity, general, you know.
Oh, just general.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're considered Christians because we believe in Jesus Christ. We know Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't study any particular form of Christian, but just the general principles of Buddhism and Hinduism, and you know, it's basically all the same. You know, you're supposed to be good. Period.
Yeah.
You know, you bring it down to treat other people the way you want them to treat you, and you'll be okay.
Yeah. Love and respect. In all aspects. Are you tired?
Not really.
I'm getting super excited.
Well, you should go to sleep. Just make sure when you use the bathroom during the night, you don't lock that door so Ted can use the bathroom during the night. You have enough toilet paper in there? Should I get you more toilet paper?
Yeah, I think there's
I think we'll be okay.
A decent amount on the thing.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay.
Okay, it is. I'm going to turn this off.
I'm going to leave.